In this video, I will explain how to calculate the profitability index. So here's the formula we can use. We say that the profitability index of some project is equal to the sum of the present value of future cash flows divided by the initial investment. Now, the criterion for accepting a new investment proposal is that the profitability index, or PI for short, should be greater than or equal to 1. Now, all that really means is that the sum of the present value of the future cash flows of that project should be greater than or equal to the initial investment required for the project. And when we're trying to choose among many potential proposals for a project, the one with the highest profitability index is preferred. So let's take a look at an example. Let's say we have two potential projects we're considering, Project A and Project B. Now, these tables show the cash flow that each project is projected to earn for 3 years. So for Project A, we can see that it requires an initial investment of $50,000 to get it off the ground. In year 1, we project that this project will cash flow $25,000. In year 2, we project it will cash flow $30,000, and in year 3, it will do $35,000. Now, we can compare that with Project B, which requires $60,000 to get it off the ground, or the initial investment. And we project that in year 1, it will do $28,000, year 2, it will do $36,000, and in year 3, it will do $40,000. Now, to calculate the profitability index for both of these projects, first we need to calculate what is the present value of the future cash flows. So for example, in year 1 in Project A, we think it will do $25,000. But that's 1 year from now. So what is the present value of that $25,000 1 year from now? Well, to calculate that, we have to use the present value formula, which I'll write right here. PV, present value, is equal to the future value divided by 1 plus R, where R is the annual interest rate or the discount rate, to the power of T, where T is the number of years. So for this example, when calculating the present value, I've used an R value of 0.10 or 10%, so a 10% discount rate. So if you plug in, for example, $25,000 right here into this formula, we plug in a $25,000 for the future value, and we divide that by 1 plus 0.1 to the power of, in this case, it would be 1 since it's year 1, we end up with $22,727. So that's the present value of this $25,000 1 year from now. And I've repeated that calculation for year 2 and year 3 to get the present value of both of those cash flows. Then we can do the exact same thing with Project B. So for each of the cash flows, we want to calculate their present value. So again, for example, this project is projected to do $28,000 after 1 year. The present value of that $28,000 can be found by doing $28,000 divided by 1 plus 0.1, discount rate, to the power of T. So in year 1, T would be 1. So if you plug that into a calculator, you find that the present value is $25,454. And we can repeat that calculation for year 2 and year 3. So once we've done that, all we have to do to calculate the profitability index is take the sum of these values and divide it by the initial investment. So for Project A, the profitability index is equal to, if you take the sum of these values, that turns out to be $73,816. And then we're going to divide that by, remember our formula says divide that by the initial investment. Our initial investment for Project A was $50,000. So we'll divide it by 50,000. So when you do 73,816 divided by 50,000, you end up with about 1.476. So this is the profitability index for Project A. And then we can repeat that process for Project B. So we'll say the profitability index is equal to the sum of these values. That turns out to be $85,258. And then we divide that by the initial investment of $60,000. And when you perform that division, you get 1.421. So we can see that both projects have a profitability index greater than 1. So based on the projected cash flow, both projects would be profitable. So to choose between the two, we just need to say, well, which one has the higher profitability index, which we can see is Project A. So between these two projects, we should choose Project A since it has a higher profitability index. Now, in a perfect world, if a company has enough money to fund both of these projects, then they should go ahead and do so because both projects have a profitability index greater than 1, so they both will be profitable. But if there's a constraint, if the company can only spend a certain amount of money, then they should choose Project A because it has the higher profitability index.